He was solicited by the banker to open an account with his bank. He said that the plan would never pay off. While she couldn't see them, she had a clear sense of danger. If we stop giving, they will stop loving us. I simply sat fixed on my terror, waiting for the ordeal to finish. That's partially gravity taking hold. Plausible as this may seem, this is not necessarily the case. This desire can affect how people interpret the results. Once upon a time a king had a great highway built. He must have been shot. He asked if that's what I wanted. Why was he so concerned that the sky was falling? All their tests suggested that the substance was DNA. The shorter the string, the faster it swings. These changes we can observe and distinguish. My sister's age should have no impact on it. At the very top peak are gathered the few who are famous. If only this were the case. Whether we like to admit it or not, we're also easy to train. It was decades later that I realized that. Every situation, properly perceived, becomes an opportunity. It will be difficult for them to reach their full potential. He will try in vain to escape from shocking situations. It took 300 years for everything to return to normal. They are great for what they are intended to do. The more you prosper, the more you can prosper. Some parts of the lake are nearly 9 times saltier than the sea. I couldn't help accepting that I was like a prisoner. In her car on the freeway, Ailey finished applying her makeup. Inside was a scummy blanket like it were going to a funeral. Why is it that some people are motivated while others are not? Nobody dared say they didn't have time. They just kind of lie there. She always calls in sick the day after I give her feedback. It makes no sense to speculate about why people do things. Managers' pay came to be based on their firm's performance. You can think of dance as a pattern in space. Otherwise, both might have surpassed 60. Whatever they say, resolve to be open and accepting. They cannot wait 5 weeks, let alone 5 years. One can imagine how the crew worked in this sort of condition. That was how the management-employee relationship worked. You've got to have faith that you can take your people all the way. Baobab trees are frequently referred to as Africa's tree of life. Try to have your most cherished wish fulfilled. Not only will Ali buy from me, but he will buy only from me. Unfurling the paper, she unwrapped two small books. The water runs off the land quickly, worsening flood problems. The tar soaked into their bones, preserving the bones from decay. The highest paying profession isn't always the best choice. This being so, a large area of the conscious mind is left free. He stood up, lifting Tom's worn-out body off the ground. He did receive a note of encouragement from someone. People were shown the cards and asked what they saw. Stir the water to make the salt dissolved. Plenty of time for a half bottle, if not a bottle. He came to the spot where he had dismounted to take a rest. Let's set a date and see if we can make this work. Lincoln said he had some problems he wanted to discuss. What a fortunate fellow I am, I kept telling myself. There is much to be said in favor of all these possibilities. I felt a great heat as if my shirt had caught fire. A lone African tree flickers yellow and white as if on fire. Time really comes at a premium for me these days. Models of several reapers were brought into the courtroom. What used to be gentle persuasion is now significant business. The more you use it, the more you can continue to use it. We cannot escape our thinking, even if we want to. A hawk stood on the ground, her dark, bright eyes fixed on him. Cautiously he drew nearer, surprised to find her alive. At least of equal importance was a change in people's aspiration. She will consider herself to have seen a picture of him. The electric wiring and heating had still not been installed yet. She enrolled in sign language classes, paying the $50 fee herself. Beneath those restraints, Jason Bourne believed, hides a barbarian. Filing to use gender-neutral terms fails to give women respect. The faster the molecules move, the higher the temperature. I felt my neck swell from the heat and constriction. I felt as if the necklace was choking me harder and harder. Indonesia alone harbors some 8,000 species of flowering plants. It's the big institutional investors that move a stock's price. Don't download anything from a source you're not familiar with. Steve arrived early with his best suit on. Suddenly, they started to ask questions he was not ready for. It is actually the core that is powering that pitch. It causes the fingers to become numb and begin turning white. Take a look around, and you will see that science is everywhere. We are not born assertive. We must learn it. It was an old warning of the muscles and the vulnerable flesh. He was not aware that he gave a sharp shriek. Charles Darwin found the resulting confusion amusing. The information itself cannot be quickly changed. All we need to do is to make sure we do not lose them. It is not uncommon to get hung up on this. An angry crowd gathered outside the police station, ready to riot. The financial consultant, by no means a timid soul, protested. The sun was just far enough in the west to send inviting shadows. On the day we were to leave Warsaw, We formed a long line. If people want to take risks, shouldn't they be allowed to do so? He saw several doctors, many of whom recommended surgery.